called to do as a form of assistance for what's going on there. Let's take a live look now from one of those fires burning. You can see a reporter in one of the shots here. Shout out to all the journalists, by the way, trying to do their best to stay safe, but bring you images like this. More great video from really what's been going on throughout the day. But this is an active live situation right here from one of the crews on the ground. If we can take it full for you, I would love to show you a little bit more about what's taken place here. Some video from throughout the day, but also a live look right now from that reporter on scene of yet another damaged, fully destroyed structure. Thousands of firefighters working around the clock, battling 4 vicious wildfires near Los Angeles. At least 5 people have died, dozens injured, and more than 70,000 under evacuation orders. That number keeps fluctuating. At least 1,000 structures have been destroyed, but the danger far from over because of those fierce Santa Ana winds fueling the flames. Elise Preston has the latest from Malibu.
Block after block, the devastation is overwhelming in Pacific Palisades.
The whole house just collapsed.
Where the most destructive fire in Los Angeles history is still burning out of control.
We're absolutely not out of danger yet.
Ferocious winds are fueling blowtorch conditions. Burning embers are flying for miles, sparking new fires.
It's been something we haven't seen before.
Weary firefighters working for more than 24 hours are trying to get the upper hand.
We're just trying to do the best we can right now.
In Malibu, the fire jumped the Pacific Coast Highway, destroying several multi-million-dollar mansions. Many ran for their lives, sheltering in their cars.
We saw people crying in their cars. We saw people praying in their cars. People are just so concerned. And even if their homes are safe for now, they're concerned about their neighbors.
About 30 miles to the east in Pasadena, this man watched the Palisades fire on TV.
I said, by the grace of God, that's not us. And here we are.
The Eaton fire leveled much of Altadena's main business corridor. Some fire hydrants have run dry.
I'm going to break down again. That's what I feel.
To the ground.
It's my whole life.
This is a tragic time in our history here in Los Angeles, but a time where we're really tested and see who we really are.
Damage is expected to reach into the tens of billions of dollars and likely will take years to recover. Elise Preston, CBS News, Malibu, California.
Not only do I feel for everybody in California dealing with all of this, but also a shout out to all those firefighters, first responders, law enforcement officers working around the clock, even some journalists out there stepping in to help. We've seen some heroic actions, people helping evacuees and whatnot. It just continues to happen here with the wind, Sean.
Yeah, and it's gonna take some time to fight these fires here, especially because they're still dealing with the winds. They're not as bad, which is great news, and they'll actually settle a little bit here through the overnight. But we've got another round of pretty strong winds moving into the area, the same area as we get into the day tomorrow, and then even extending a little bit down towards the southern portion of that southwestern area here in the San Diego area. We'll be keeping a close eye out for as we get into the day tomorrow. This system that is bringing the Santa Ana winds is the same system that was responsible for our very strong winds yesterday, our canyon winds, and the gap winds down towards the southwestern corner of our state. You'll see those warnings up for the south and west as we get into the day tomorrow. In addition to that, we've got those high wind warnings. The high wind, luckily for tomorrow, won't be as bad in the Los Angeles County area, but it will be, as I mentioned, closer down towards the south, just east of San Diego. Meanwhile, as I mentioned, they'll still be gusty overnight. It's tomorrow morning. They'll relax a little bit, but then they'll ramp up into the afternoon, and that's what I'm expecting these conditions to really kind of deteriorate quite a bit tomorrow afternoon, especially up towards the Calabasas area. They could see some 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts here. And then finally, as we get into Friday, things will be much better for the emergency response and for the firefighters there. 34 degrees here at home. We still have some light gusty winds sustained out of the north, 9 miles per hour, but it's these northerly winds that will provide some cool temperatures. So for those who maybe are going to be heading late downtown to the Delta Center for Utah hockey game, we're talking about temperatures there cooling off quite a bit down into the 20s. So coming up, what we're talking about, we've got a few weak systems. We've got one tonight that will impact the northeastern portion of the state. You went to mountains, I'm looking at you, could see 1 to 3 inches of snow. And then look at this, Saturday, snow looking more and more likely accumulating snow as well, Brian, and then even some lingering snow showers into Sunday. We'll track all that coming up.
Sean, thank you. I want to bring you back out here live from one of the helicopters that is flying over one of the wildfires in California. And Sean was alluding to the winds. When they zoomed into these flames, you could just see them continuing to fan. Typically, fires will bed down as the sun sets. Conditions are changing. Not the case here. Not everything is settling. Let's continue to talk more about the weather scenario here in California. It seems to be a year-round thing in California. Meteorologist Brian Schofield from our sister station in Redding, California, looking at the current fire conditions in the northern part of the state and explains what is contributing to these dry conditions.
I'm meteorologist Brian Schofield. You know, the lines certainly are feeling blurred when it comes to when is fire season. When does it start? When does it stop? Is it really just all year long? Because we're seeing human-caused events. We're seeing major wind events throughout the year that all seem to really make it appear that fire season just doesn't really end. We know the peak of summer, we get a lot of heating, so is it just the heat? But there's also wind in fall. Take a look at our own chart. We have various triggers that happen throughout the year. Hot, dry conditions and the high-risk triggers, we don't have that right now. But we have had some wind, so that has elevated the risk a little bit for us. Same with Southern California with the Santa Ana winds. It's a high elevation, right? We're really dealing with very strong winds there. Lightning, no, we haven't had really storms lately, but if you get copious rainfall like we've had, and then maybe you have a year or two where there's not some, then you have increased fuels for these fires. So far, we're doing okay with our wildfire danger, but once again, a lot like Southern California, we're seeing the wind uptick. We're going to have more wind events, and that's going to dry things out. Because with those Santa Ana winds, they descend down the canyons and passes, they compress the air, and we're talking about speeding up winds, heating up winds, and drying everything out in their path.
All right, another live look at one of the reports taking place right now from one of the California news crews here. You see behind this reporter yet another structure up in flames. Coming to the aid of what's happening in California, Utah firefighters officially heading west. There will be 3 task force crews with a task force leader, a task force trainee, and about 5 engines. There are other local engines from other local departments that are heading there as well. I had a chance to speak to one of those firefighters today that will be deploying tomorrow morning as part of this statewide deployment to help our neighbors to the west.
We've got a really good emergency management program here in the state of Utah. They've developed a really good relationship with California, the Office of Emergency Services there, Cal OES. So usually when they start getting big fires, especially with such devastation like this, the chances of us sending out resources to California become pretty high.
You've been out on these deployments before and have been all over working wildfires, but California is always kind of a different beast, especially when you factor in those winds. What's the mindset going specifically to California compared to what we run into here in Utah?
Like you said, the big thing in California, especially watching the reports coming in, is the winds. Wind throws a completely different beast into fighting wildfire. The winds can shift on us. It can change the direction of the fire. It'll dry out some of the fuels a lot quicker. It definitely makes it a little bit more of a challenge to go out and try and contain the fire as best we can, or push it away from structures.
A fire of this magnitude, or multiple fires of this magnitude, with so much devastation and homes lost and businesses lost, what does that mean for what you might be doing in terms of an assignment when you get there compared to maybe other assignments you've been on?
This time right now, I just got the list. We're sending down what looks like 15 engines from various departments throughout the state of Utah. Most of those are what we call a Type 1 engine, which is your traditional structure engine that you see going down to your 911 calls or on house fires. So looking at the resources that they have requested, I'm anticipating us doing a lot of structure protection. Like I said, just trying to get the fire to skirt around the homes to keep it out of neighborhoods, businesses, things like that.
Seems like that's pretty valuable given the amount of structures already lost.
Yeah. Like I said, the last report I saw was about 1,000 structures lost, and I saw something that there were 2 fatalities already. So we definitely want to try and get down there and see what we can't do to help out the people of California.
Have you been on something of this magnitude?
I've been on several fires down in California. The Thomas Fire was probably one of the bigger ones with devastation like this. I've been on the Mendocino Complex when Battalion Chief Matt Burchett was killed. but it didn't impact homes to where we saw like this one is. So this will be probably an eye opener. We've been down there when we've gone through neighborhoods, and 90% of the neighborhood is all just rubble.
It's amazing. You know, you look outside your window, you've got snow here. Have you in your career had January deployments as well?
Chief, my deputy chief and I were talking. I've never been on a wildfire in January. I have been to where I got home on December 22nd, and then I've been out in, I think it was February or March. So I haven't had a January one yet, so this is definitely a first.
Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, the ski patroller strike at Park City Mountain Resort is over, at least for now. We've got reaction to the tentative deal between the union and Vail Resorts. We're getting some new information tonight and reaction to the tentative agreement between ski patrollers at Park City Mountain Resort and Vail Resorts. Now, the new developments put an end to this strike that has contributed to long lines, crowded conditions at the resort over the holidays, and a lot of videos on social media. Kristen McPeak spoke with skiers and riders there today to get their reaction to the news.
I reached out to the Park City Professional Ski Patrol Association. They said that they may be able to talk tomorrow But we were able to get people's thoughts right here on the mountain, and they say an agreement that's made right now is good news for them. Dan Wicks enjoyed snowboarding at Park City Mountain Resort on Wednesday.
It was great today. Good to get back out on the mountain with the patrol out.
He says there were no lines and is happy to learn that a tentative agreement between Park City Mountain Resort and the Park City Professional Ski Patrol Association has been reached. The association is requesting a $2 raise from Vail Resorts, who owns Park City Mountain.
The $2 an hour increase is really pennies to Vail.
I reached out to Vail and asked, what solution has been made? When can guests expect to see mountain operations back up to speed? What's next in the process? I received a joint statement, reading in part, everyone looks forward to restoring normal resort operations and moving forward together as one team. Skier Mark Williams was ecstatic about the news.
Good, hooray, all right, well that's great. That's good news for everybody.
Skiers add that change will be good.
A lot of runs have been closed. It's been pretty difficult to actually get going on the slopes.
For Mark, he's optimistic.
And everybody come on back. Everything's open, now we just need some more snow.
And we know that the Ski Patrol Association will be voting on the solution to this agreement. In Park City, I'm Krista McPeak.
All right, big focus is what's happening on the mountains in terms of when can we get some fresh snow. We got some yesterday, we got some fresh turns, which was really nice. But I think, you know, this time of year, people just want more. They're hungry for more. If you're a skier, rider, snowboarder, sledder, extreme sledding, whatever you do, you want a little taste.
Well, it's also the time of the year that they're opening up different sections of the mountains, too. They've got that fresh powder, including Alta. I saw that today. But we've got more snow heading our way for the weekend. It's not a big storm, but they could maybe see 5 to 10 inches of snow for the weekend.
Snow Basin Resort opening the Allen Peak Tram tomorrow for one of your favorite parts of the mountain.
That is my...
See?
Don't tempt me the good time there. All right. Yeah, going to be late to work. All right, what we are tracking coming up right now is some changes that we're going to see. It's cold out there, by the way. If you haven't noticed, temperatures here throughout the week into the 30s. We'll talk about how long that lasts. We've got a little bit of snow moving into the Uintas tonight, and then the main storm moves in for the weekend, bringing us some valley and mountain snow. In the meantime, we are still dealing with some strong gap winds down towards the southwest into portions of Washington County. You'll see that as we head through the evening. Look at hurricane as we get into tomorrow morning. This is what I'm talking about. This is why we have those advisories in place. It's not going to be too windy in St. George. It's just going to be outside of the city that we'll see some of those strong winds from hurricane out into the Gunlock area, into Cedar City, even seeing some pretty gusty winds over 30 miles per hour. But it does get better as we get into Thursday night and into Friday morning, and then we're at least done with this part of the wind event of the storm. We're into the 30s right now as those temperatures fall, 34 degrees, and they're falling pretty nicely in Heber at 26, 27 in Delta, 30 in Cedar City. Look at this. We've got some returns here on the radar. Now, 90% of this not hitting the ground just yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see some snow flurries. Getting some reports looking at the cameras in Park City for some very light snow falling there, but this mainly will be an event for the Uinta Mountains here as we head into the overnight. So what we are tracking next, after the little bit of the light snow that we'll see up to the north and east, is plenty of sunshine. Cold but sunny skies for your Thursday, and then heading into Friday, we've got plenty of sun as well, but increasing clouds by Friday evening, and then Friday night, here comes our storm moving in as early as midnight, bringing some light snow across the northern edge of the Wasatch Front into the mountains, extending down into Saturday morning, Richfield, Delta, Price area. Not a big widespread event, but scattered light on and off snow showers will be likely here throughout the day on Saturday, potentially even lingering on into Sunday. As I mentioned, not a big event, about a coating to 2 inches possible across the valley floors with, I think the cottonwoods will do pretty decent, about 5 to 9 inches of snow expected along the Wasatch back, probably about 2 to 3 inches of snow, about an inch to maybe an inch down into Bryan Head and the Soldier Summit area. So lows overnight, we got to get ready for a cold one. I think if we do reach 21, that will be the coldest temperature of the season so far. We had a low of 24 early this morning. 36 for a high here. Look at the temperatures tomorrow. This will likely also be the coldest afternoon highs that we have seen so far this season. St. George, you're dealing with temperatures here into the 50s and 40s. pleasant throughout the week and dry as well. We continue to deal with the lack of moisture down there. And then along the Wasatch Front, we're into the 30s here each and every day. There's that storm for the weekend, and then hazy skies return by the end of next week.
All right, thank you, Sean. I want to bring you this live shot here from Hollywood right now. This is another brush fire that actually sparked earlier today. It's called the Sunset Fire. There are evacuations in order right now. I love this technology that they have on these helicopters showing you the streets. Runyon Canyon Road, one of the big ones there. We know that there are evacuation orders. This is the Hollywood Hills West area. They're calling this just 10, 15 acres right now, burning between Runyon Canyon and Waddles Park, and there is a mandatory evacuation in place for Laurel Canyon Boulevard to Mulholland Drive to the 101 freeway. But again, this is a live look right now of the Sunset Fire, and helicopters from Los Angeles County in that area working on anything they can here, because this is not the Palisades Fire or the Eden Fire that's garnered so much coverage. This is a newer fire in the Hollywood Hills this evening here, and we're bringing you this live look tonight. We'll continue to keep you updated. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, former President Jimmy Carter, known for his work with Habitat for Humanity, will show you how the local chapter is honoring his life and how you can help provide affordable housing for Utah families in need. We'll be right back. Right now, the public is saying goodbye to former President Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, that's right. His body continues to lie in state in the rotunda of the U.S. Capitol while the military maintains a guard of honor. Tomorrow, the former president will be laid to rest at the Washington National Cathedral. Before the funeral, Habitat for Humanity Greater Salt Lake plans to raise a memorial wall in memory of President Carter. Habitat for Humanity is hosting a free public event at 9 a.m. inside the Salt Lake Restore building on 5th West. The memorial wall is part of an interactive art exhibit that will travel around the valley this month. Also happening tomorrow, a new lift and village are set to open at Deer Valley Resort.
Resort leaders hosting a ribbon cutting ceremony tomorrow morning for the new Keatley Express chairlift and Deer Valley's new East Village. First chair taking off at 8:45, and the new East Village includes the new Grand Hyatt Hotel, ticket office, ski storage, and skier shuttle from the parking lot. Also tomorrow, the Jazz back at home at the Delta Center, the team taking on the Miami Heat.
Yeah, the team, which of course, as we mentioned, taking on the Miami Heat, the Jazz are looking for back-to-back wins against the Heat.